warm good evening. Welcome to it. I'm your jersey number 10. I'm Thomas Mlombo. This is Extra Time. This is where you settle in and take a look at what took place as far as the action that involved South African teams, not only in the Betway Premiership, but what took place as far as the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup is concerned. And there's a lot to talk about. There were stellar performances all over the league. Chippa United getting a third win in a row. Orlando Pirates extending their gap at the top of the table. And when we look at continental football, and this is maybe the question that I need to ask you at home, and maybe you can have this conversation with me. Hashtag SSDSKI is with Mamelodi Sundowns going through to the knockout stages of the Champions League and Kaizer Chiefs crashing out of the Confederations Cup. What does that do for the Betway Premiership title race? Are there positives to take from these situations that have taken place on the continent? Or is there a real issue to be looked at when you have more football, for instance, if you're Mamelodi Sundowns, or less football now the Chiefs are out of the Confederations Cup in terms of the title race? That is the key. The top three as far as the log is concerned are Orlando Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns, and Kaizer Chiefs, and two of them have been impacted in different ways when it comes to the continental competition. There's the log for you, and it is a 6-point gap, but now it's some of the other clubs like Mamelodi Sundowns who have the games in hand over the log leaders, Orlando Pirates. Tell me what you think. Hashtag SSDSKI. Let me introduce you to the panel here in the studio to give their perspectives, and maybe you want to jump in on that topic. I've got Simphiwe Dludlu, the coach, and she's done it with Banyana Banyana. She's done it with the national teams in a coaching capacity. And coach, good, bad, or not going to make a real difference when it comes to Sundowns? They're still in the Champions League, and Kaizer Chiefs crashing out to the Confederations Cup. What does it mean for the league?
It brings more excitement in a sense that all these teams are just points away from each other. And if you're looking at a Kaizer Chiefs point of view, I think now they'll be able to do those corrections to say, where can we make it better? Where can we improve? Where can we even go further with the great stuff that they've been doing? Because it's been a while since we've seen Kaizer Chiefs competing in different competitions simultaneously in one season, and I think they did it well until they crashed out, but they are bringing the heat in a sense, because when was the last time we saw Chiefs in the top three?
It only leaves Chiefs in one competition to compete for now.
Yeah.
That's it. The focus has to be the Betway Premiership. That could be the bonus.
Yeah, that could be the bonus. They get to solely focus on that. I mean, the last time we saw Chiefs edging for a league was that season near COVID, when they had so many points ahead, but, they lost it at the end. So now they are just focusing on that. Hopefully, they'll focus a lot more into details, because the log leaders, bayashisa.
Yeah?
Bayashisa. And the Sundowns, there's a game in there now, like the top foiler pen, I guess she's.
But guess she's Sundowns stay. They've managed to remain in continental competitions. They've now done it, 10 times in the last 11 seasons, something like that, to go through to the next round of and out of the group stages. Is it good or bad for them, looking at this season, looking at the competition around them in terms of the title race?
You look at the three teams that are in the race. You look at Kaizer Chiefs and you ask yourself the question to say, did they have the squad depth to be able to compete on the continent and also compete at home? The answer would be maybe they were 2 or 3 players short to be able to compete on both competitions. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise for Kaizer Chiefs to be knocked out of the CAF Confederations Cup. They can now focus on the league. They can now focus on trying to chase the pack that is leading at the moment. You might say over the past seasons, you might have said that Mamelodi Sundowns will have the advantage because they are used to playing in all competitions. But you look at how much Mamelodi Sundowns have changed their squad. Is Leon used to playing all these games? Is Santos used to it? Is Rosinho used to it? These are new players that have come in at Mamelodi Sundowns. But when it was the Shashas, the Zwanes, the Morenas, those guys were used to playing in that competition. So now these new Sundowns players that have come in, they must adjust to the number of games that Sundowns play in a short space of time. Then you look at Orlando Pirates that had built a squad for continental football. Orlando Pirates were knocked out early of CAF competitions. Now, the rotation that you see the coach of Orlando Pirates doing those rotations is because he has got such depth in his squad that he had prepared to go and play on the continent. Now there's no continent. Puma Mremi ngena Police, Puma Msendami ngena Rile, Puma Tito ngena Dion. It's only South Africa that is waiting.
Mamelodi Sundowns are a squad that were designed to compete for everything, and mainly to put another star on that jersey. That continues for them this season. The battle is on.
The battle stays on for them because they've done it at home 7 times in a row. So they are looking at themselves to say, when was the last time we got it? In 2016. So they want to add on that because they've got the quality there.
So confidence is up, coach.
The confidence is definitely up.
Because you can imagine that at Claude Corp this whole week was, if it crashed out of the Champions League, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Now they're staying alive there. Surely confidence in the entire setup is what now this is what we're supposed to, this is what we do. We compete here, we win everywhere.
Absolutely, because Mamelodi Sundowns, league, yes, they compete for it, but for Bona, it's nothing new. It's okay. Anyway, see, wina kanjani. It conversation about to Sundowns is see, wina kanjani this season. Ngama points kanjani. Spraker league record 7 times in a row. But so manje is strategy abahlala banaso. Bazibuza ukuthi
ngeke kangakanani this season.
It is.
Yeah?
For the past 7 seasons, they've been doing it. They've been beating our record. Gucci. They've gone 20 games without a loss, but leading us 10 points. Halfway already, they've done this, they've done that. So our record, manje, anyway,
Nandi history lesson, yaga coach. History lesson, yaga coach. Nandi.
But a template, Thomas, ban a template.
Guys, we could discuss this at length. I need to move on. But that's the topic for you. What do you think? Hashtag SSDiski, with teams crashing out, others staying in Africa, and the title race as close as it is. What does it mean for the race? Tell us what you think, and we'll bring those tweets up on screen and have a conversation about them. But now let's get straight into what happened as far as the man of the matches are concerned. And we've got all of the man of the matches for you from the Betway Premiership over the week that was. And then we give you the extra time man of the week. Someone who did just a little bit more than everybody else to earn the man of the matches. And here we go. Mofokeng, Kampala, Figueiredo, Keith, Dion, and Mujela. Those were the man of the matches in their respective encounters. Who's the man of the week for you? Humuzo.
It's very tight. You look at what Figueiredo gave Chippa United. It's 2 assists. It makes them leave that relegation zone for the meantime, they leave that relegation zone. Temporarily so. That
Figueiredo. Temporarily.
No, Mamela. Figueiredo. 2 assists. They get to score 3. That is Chippa United. Great game. Then you're thinking Figueiredo is doing well. Then you look at the president and look at the fact that, okay, another goal, another assist for Rile. Is doing well. Orlando Pirates have been so consistent because of the consistency of Rile. When I speak about the consistency of Rile, last 3 league games, 3 men of the match. That's consistency.
But this week, history.
No,
this week.
Okay, Mamel, this week.
Praise I too,
Called,
and then you're telling me about assists, and you're telling me about a goal and assist.
Coach, Mamel, I think I'm telling you 2 goal contributions. Maybe
okay.
2 goal contributions.
2 goals.
2 goal contribution.
Coach.
Mina ngivakashile la. Ngizivakashi la angihlala yazi mawuba eloption umuntu athi uyakubuza ukuthi inyanga or ilanga lebo sithi hayi mina ngihlali la.
Ngena iyafuna. What do you feel? Because Pomoto's been pretty thorough. Plenty of really good nominees for man of the week. Who's yours?
My man of the week is definitely the president. You know, service delivery con.
Okay.
Service delivery con and on time. The quality, and it's not like there's no pressure because Pomoto is talking about the consistency of being able to perform consistently, coming from injury, being able to do that. You crashed out of the AFCON, and you know how he's lifted his head up to say the quality touches that he makes, the quality passes that he makes. Yeah, we understand.
Yay.
So for me now,
Coach, you're on my team.
Hey, number 10, number 10. Mela tumise lela ligqokile njengamanje. My son doesn't want to wear 10. He must wear 38 because he relates with a 38. Why?
But
Because
retire 38 one day. That's the plan that you are saying.
yeah. So that's what he
and retire number 10.
But the nominees there for the Men of the Week, really they deserve to be there, all of them.
Did you give me a name? Because you gave me lots of nominees. Did you give me a name?
Coach,
What's the name?
Coach, you president.
Okay. Guys, what do you think at home? Have they given you the correct answer in terms of the Man of the Week? Or should Dion be in the conversation? Should Mujela be in the conversation, having put the ball in the back of the net on 2 occasions for their clubs and securing 3 points for those clubs as well? But now, let's get straight into it. And as usual, we have the conversation where we say, let's take a look at the 30-second strike. That moment that caught our attention more than any other. And ordinarily, it's the one that's good is here. The one that's better is here. And then the last one is the best, right? And I normally go last. So I have to decide between the two that are here. Ivagashi, regular. Hey guys.
On Continental TV.
Because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
I want to go first. Just because, Valentine's that just come back behind before, and I just want to be a nice guy. So I'm going to go first, and I'm going to give you something that you don't see much. And this is that moment. The man with the ball in his hand, Darren Keat, is the first goalkeeper in the Betway Premiership this season to get an assist. What a perfectly paced pass. He's got 10 clean sheets, then he delivers that. Tata, Hamakora, there you go. From the keeper, Darren Keat. That is superb vision. That is the way that I love to see a player delivering more than just in his position. Magawana should run back and say, "Mwah, what a pass, keeper. I knew you could." That is my 30-second strike. No one else in the league has done that. No one, in terms of goalkeepers, has done that. Has got clean sheets and an assist. Guys, it's impossible to beat, but I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to beat that 30-second strike. I should close the shop now.
Yeah, so Kuluma,
and say something.
Coach, so Kuluma the management, I'm a good commentator. Or a ring announcer.
Okay, talk then. You next.
Hey, last.
No. Ladies last. Ladies last. Next. No, you wanted to plug out.
No, moment.
Again.
I want to Mazolwa now.
No, but for this one, please. Let's go.
When you see my moment.
Yes.
I want to Mazolwa now.
Let's go next.
The bold moment of the week has to go to a man that makes people sleep at work. When he goes towards you, you just lie down, lala, vuga, lala, and then he gets that chip over the top. For me, when you look at this moment, it's sheer brilliance because it's composure, it's delay, it's composure. Then he puts it in the back of the net. Such goals, Thomas. This is a game-changing moment. They try to foul him to bring him down for a penalty. He says, "No, I'm not going to go down. I'm going to continue." And that's what we call the goal Yamanakanaka. The bold moment of the week goes to the President Yama 2000, Rile Mufokeng. We saw him.
Thomas Kasi, Gunamu Chita Bizango Valentin. Bela Shaivala Ezaganje, Bekadali winger. Today he's in his 50s, close to 60. Usaso Valentin, Moshana Mavalis, Atipem Bava. Marage, it's in Kubegane, moment.
So far you got 2 nominees. I know you're still leaning behind for Darren Keat. I know that's where you're at after what you've seen so far. But coach, maybe you snatch it.
Moment
your 30-second strike.
Umuntu beka sekhaya uzitshela ukuthi kudlala iPlayStation kanti asi PlayStation ledlala la ngicela ubheke ukuthi kwenzakalani. The pass, the finesse of bringing it down with his non-dominant foot. Look at that. The weight of the pass. It's an umbrella pass that lands there and he touches it nicely. And he doesn't push it again. What's important about this goal is that the weight of the pass, the timing of the pass. Uyazi ukuthi upass umbuthuma. Ekungamelanga ukuthi enze izinto eziningi mele vele ahlanganise inyawo necox afela shayinet. That is the quality I'm talking about. The President Yama 2000 ithi mbuthuma ntwana skawara. Skawara kitloletsa ube mnati wemtepi. Uyishapile fela jalo katsila eo. Ake wena ushapa ka di 30 seconds. Ushapa ka di vulavala di Valentin. Na ke shapa ka finesse. Ya PlayStation.
So kahle asi goal yawo. Yawo ki first touch.
The whole moment.
Oh, the whole
The
moment.
whole thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Ikumsijwayele isikho McDonald's ikhathele.
Siapologize kuwe. Siapologize ukuthi uThomas uthatha iposition yakhe right. Wenze kahle waqala. Wenze kahle waqala.
Guys, I gave you history happening. When you know, my first touch, history. The first time in the whole season that a goalkeeper has an assist. You guys come with nama finesse, nama touch, nama sleeping bag. Oh, wow. Let's move on though. Those are the 30-second strikes. Let's get to Friday. Let's take a look at what happened with Durban City as they defeated TS Galaxy by 2-0. Coaching change having taken place. They were not seeing the new man on the bench just yet for Durban City. But it doesn't matter because the goals are happening. Norman Fisher couldn't do anything. He bundles this into his own net.
It's lack of information. He does not know what's happening around him. He does not see where the goals are. He does not see the opponents. His close stance. He does not scan and take information. So he just wants to get his head onto the ball. And when he does that, he puts it in his own net. Unlucky for him, but something to learn. You need to see where the ball is coming from, see the opponent and the reference that you're defending, because the reference is the goal. You defend not to get the ball into the goals.
Now, when you look at it, it was a disastrous 5 or 6 minutes as far as Galaxy were concerned, because there's that, and then the goal that seals the match happens, and that happens after a substitution also needed to take place, and that sub comes in. Here he is, Sipumba, still only 20 years of age, and a real prospect for the future.
Yeah, I remember at some point in the DDC, he was one of the best youngsters that were coming through. And, he's also substituting a player that had a brilliant match. He comes on and he says, okay, coach, I understand what is required of me. He's got massive technical abilities on him, Usifumba. And he comes on at a time where Darren Keat has been doing this a lot more. 3-4 passes into the final third throughout the whole game. This is what he's been doing. Look at his run. He stays on side and the defender is unable, to find him. This is the technical quality I'm talking about, which is the timing of his run and how he finishes. He catches it with his laces. He could have gone open foot with a stance.
Kulmange pass.
Yeah, no, same Kulmange finishing, manje.
Kulmange pass.
Yeah, that pass was a deliberate pass, and like I said, three passes that he made into the final third with Darren Keat as a goalkeeper. So already tells you, Guti, a game plan, Guti, let's bypass the midfield, and the players that they're putting in there, it's players that are able to do that. We realize, Guti, the defense of ETS Galaxy, they are slow because it's two defenders that are there that could have easily dealt with that long ball that's coming from with Darren Keat, but they're unable to do that. And Usifumba says, this is how I also introduced myself into this team, because he's got his teammates at Pumanabo, a Cape Town seat. Darren Keat is from there, not Dada's from there, so he does well.
So there you go. That's how that ended. Simple victory there for Durban City. Moving on to what happened as far as Arrows away from home and how they were able to get the points against Magesi. Again, coaching change having taken place. We don't see the new coach on the bench yet. Alan Freeze is the new man in charge at Magesi. But on this day, it was still Wyan Dewo sitting on the bench. Here is how the goals happened. The first of those two. And we see that first goal. Back of the net, Pumuzo, what do you think?
I think a top quality finisher in the box. He goes on to go to goal 9 of the season. He's the leading goal scorer so far.
This was number 8.
It's that deft touch, just lifts it over the goalkeeper. But one thing that stands out with Dion is a box striker. He's that striker that needs the supply. You give him the supply, he will give you the goals. This one man that has impressed me also so far this season is Ndlovu. His ability to play in tight spaces, his ability to cut back and find a teammate in the box. If he continues like this, he's one of those that has impressed me, Ndlovu.
And then we see that, was there more that Chipazeze could have done here? I mean, he's normally a wall for them. But when this comes in, there's a lot for him to consider.
Where the cross comes first, that's where you normally find the centre-back. However, that's where he has to lay down and try to block that pass from going all the way. And it's highly unlikely for a goalkeeper to be able to catch it there. Normally, they try to play it and it goes wherever that it can go, and hopefully the defenders can be able to clear it. However, it doesn't happen that way, which means that a goal poacher that is Dion, he knows that a cross is coming in. The first one he scores from a cross coming from the left from Umaklele, the next one comes from the right. And he also missed, he could have gone to a hat-trick also in this game, but for me, it's the consistency of him being able to say in the Nedbank Cup, he scored, and then he comes into the league, he also scores a brace.
Now, there was a decision in this match. Yes, the first red card did go the way of Durban City. 2 yellow cards for Musadi. Those reasonably clear in terms of how those decisions were made. This straight red card, though, for Cisse, this one needs explanation. I don't know, guys. I don't know how you give a straight red card in this situation. Tell me. Madonsela, I mean, tell me what you think.
Incorrect decision. For me, you look at him, he doesn't lift his foot. He does not lift his foot. His foot is, throughout the tackle, his foot is on the ground.
I think he gets the ball.
Just a
He's actually stepped on.
No,
he should have gotten the foul instead.
No.
Ngabe bapay any free kick and Utapo watoli.
But you know what kills
But
him?
it's not so clear. The touch that he makes is not so clear on Madonsela. But for me, there's no excessive force. For me, there's no endangering an opponent. For me, he does not lift his foot above the ankle height. His foot is on the ground throughout this tackle. And he touches the ball just before Madonsela comes in. So that's why I'm saying, for me, incorrect call, yellow card at the most, because there's no excessive force. He's not endangering an opponent and he's not lifting his foot.
But I think the thing that he does that doesn't help his case, Cisse, there, is when he gets up, he says to the referee, it's my first one. It's my first one. That's right. You did nothing.
That's okay.
No, because he's thinking that probably the referee is penalizing him for going down and making a tackle like that. That's what he's thinking. And if anything, if ingaba lula lapana umuphi lokat yoguti, he lunged in, but he wasn't. He was sliding. There's a difference between lunging into a player and sliding to get that ball. That's why I'm saying, if anything, he should have gotten the free kick and not even a yellow card.
So poor
because he
decision
got
there.
stepped on. Very poor. Because red card ganja, if anything,
Straight.
uphi yellow card.
Straight.
But abantu everybody nento yokuthi ba balance equation benza Pythagoras laphana fanti.
Ngoba ngale bokuno the red card
Kune red card
yamusa.
ethathisa
Ngapha siyalungisa. Angeke. Moving on. And I want to look at the bottom of the half of the table here, and I need you guys to give me an answer here, because Alan Freeze comes in to Magesi. Can he save them? I mean, last season, he was with Rulani Mokoena at Wydad Casablanca as an assistant coach, but he's been out of the game for a long time. And other than that, he needs to come in and do a big job there. Can he do it?
Look, Thomas, he's used to doing it in the lower leagues with the young boys. I mean, we saw him at Highlands Park and all of that. But badinga more than motivation, and Alan Freeze is a motivator more than coaching and all of that. He's got all the experience and all of that. These guys, they survived relegation last season.
Maybe that's all they need, though. Maybe that's just all they need.
That's not the only thing they need. How many points did they get in just 5? Balapagbo won, got 2 points in the last 5.
He did, though, work with Owen De Gama. They were very close for a long time in their coaching careers. And we know what Owen De Gama did with Magesi and how he turns the Shirko and that stadium into a fortress. Maybe Alan can bring the ODG treatment to Magesi.
That's manje mawuthi uzoza ngale method yaka Owen wavela uLandu Owen abuye.
And baxoshe Owen obeka ne method ebasize ku relegation.
So but mina, I'm looking at this and thinking, I look at Vilakazi, he has the experience of saving teams. You look at Kevin Hunt, he's there with Stellenbosch, but he has got games in hand. He can still push on. But I'm worried about Obit. I'm worried about Marumo Gallants. The coach of Obit, the coach of Marumo Gallants don't have the experience. Now Freeze needs to take advantage of the lack of experience in terms of trying to save teams.
There you go. That's the perspective at the bottom of the table. Quick break. After the break, so much more to talk about. Fantastic performances at the top of the table. And obviously, we have to look at what took place with Cat.
Losing makes things worse. If Pirates wins, my man, maybe they might even still the tag game, my man, Sundowns, that the sky is the limit. But it is that game that are you going to convince us that you are ready to win the league? Because I think the pressure is not on Mamelodi Sundowns to win the league this time around. I think it's on Pirates to win the league. it's for Sundowns to lose it. And people are saying, yeah, it's for Sundowns, it's for Pirates to lose it. No, they haven't won it in so many years. They're not there to lose it. They're there to win it. Sundowns is there for them to lose it. And I guess on the day, whoever wins that, I think there's two different echoes that will be in this camp. So for Pirates, it's the momentum. For Sundowns, it might change their fortunes for the league.
State of the title race, a new show twice a month. Strong opinions coming through from the general there in terms of the match coming up on Wednesday on your World of Champions as Orlando Pirates host the current champions of the Betway Premiership in Mamelodi Sundowns. And the question that he put out there was, Pirates, if I'm listening to him, are the team that needs to go out there and make sure they win that game because they are the team that have something to prove on Wednesday.
Umbuzile wati Sundowns, them winning and the league ngati go Sundowns, when they come in and say, how are we winning it this season? With Pirates, the conversation is, will we win it this season? Do we want to win it this season? Wednesday, are we winning it this season?
Wednesday.
So umuntu pressure coming into the game is Pirates more than Sundowns. I agree with Utigo. However, for our bragging rights, Pirates is going to look at themselves and say, we cannot miss it. This is a perfect opportunity.
Second title decider.
Yes, it is a title decider.
Exengaji.
Mayengayenzeka late kuzoyenzeka le anto ye-Sundowns ne-Chiefs ngama last minute.
This big game, how important is it? And is it a case of Sundowns coming to the game feeling essentially either way, not really that important? It's for the opposition to come out here and take this title from us.
I don't agree with Teko. The team that needs to win is Sundowns. Pirates don't need to win. Pirates are 6 points ahead. So if Sundowns don't win it, it's problems for them because it will stay 6 points. Pirates can lose. They will be on the same number of games, but Pirates still has the advantage. So Pirates don't have to lose. And when you're in a title race like this, you don't have to beat your rivals to be able to win the league. So Pirates don't have to win. When you look at Pirates, they're the best scorers in the league. When you look at Pirates, they're the best defense in the league. When you look at Pirates, they're the only team with 2 trophies out of the 2 that are there to be played for. They have no pressure. The other ones must chase.
Sure, again. Yes, all right, no pressure.
I mean, I think you're pressure because out of the race yesterday, and Jengamanje, Ubano na mataiki like 7. The last time Pirates won it was when?
What about team? Shooting, pega.
Yes, ngibone mawushiya i-lip gloss yakho. Athathe i-lip gloss yakho.
Yo, Thomas, angazi ngahleka kanje.
Uthanda izinto. Wa uthatha i-lip gloss.
Kungcono ukuqobezela umlomo than ukuba nomlomo ombashile i-title race nje. To your defense.
It's good times, good league.
Yeah, to your defense. Kungcono ukuqobezela umlomo than ukuthi ube mpunga njengamanje, but yeah, i-pressure mina I feel 100%. The pressure is
Let's move on. Shining like the title race today, clearly. Let's go on to the 2 teams that were being discussed there. Interesting perspectives here in studio, but Pirates are up against Maruma Gallants, and it could have gone that very tough defense that you were talking about, Pumuzo, it could have been defeated here within a minute of the game starting.
I saw Sipho Chain make a save like this against Amazulu, and I thought it was a game-changing save. He comes up in this game once again, a mistake by Siema. Good pressing coming from Maruma. They release Utalisa. Good pace. He gets into the box. But I don't think he connects that well with the ball. That is Utalisa. But Sipho Chain still needs to make a save because that touch for me from Sipho is crucial. Is that what deflects the ball onto the post? But when you look at performances that Uchain has given this season, it's 16 games in the league. He has kept 12 clean sheets in 16 games. It means it's a barring the 4 games, he has kept clean sheets in the league in all the games that he has played in. And it goes to that record also of that home win record in all competitions for Pirates. I think now they are sitting on 11 consecutive home wins in all competitions, which is a great record that has been set by Coach Wadu.
And also, when you look at records there, as far as Sipho Chain is concerned, I think that's his 12th clean sheet of the season. The last time, and in fact, he's broken the record that Okpara had, and that was back in 1999-2000 season, where Okpara went, with 10 clean sheets inside the first 15 games of the season. Sipho Chain is exceptional in terms of how he's leading that defense from the back. However, let's move on, because after that, Pirates then went on to score. And how they did it, Pomozo, you've got the tactics, the trends on how Mutuma ends up in the net with the football.
Yeah, when you look at the tactics and the trends, you look at how Orlando Pirates opens the gap between that defense of Maruma Gallants. I'm highlighting the back four in this instance, but the key space is between the left centre back and the left back. That is the space between Skosana and Mabochwa that is going to stretch as we roll on with this moment. But I'm highlighting that 4-5-1 that Maruma Gallants were playing. Now let's look at the spaces in between the lines. I'm spiraling really. I'm spiraling Tito Maswangani. They are in between the lines. That is such a key position to be able to occupy. Now look at that distance of Mabochwa and also Skosana. It gets bigger. And that's what Pirates does well. I'm spiraling Tito Maswangani. He's looking to exploit that space between Skosana and Mabochwa in this instance. I'm spiraling Apolis on the left of your picture because they've interchanged positions. The 10 is now the man in your picture. Apolis is 3 versus 1. Tito has attracted the attention of the 3 defenders. Look at Apolis. Eye contact is key in football. Eye contact with the relay, that is Apolis. Then relay says, can you see the space I'm looking at? I want to go into that space. Will you be able to find me with a pass over the top? Apolis agrees and says, I'm going to give you that pass. But the hand of God is on Butuma. He's going to go on and score the goal in this moment. That's that delightful pass over the top. World class is how I'll describe this touch from Rele Mufokeng. He brings it down excellently. He scans, he knows where Butuma is. Look at that space and look at the path that he's going to thread. He says, I'm not playing it to feet. I'm playing it to space. You have to go out and attack that ball. It's Orlando Pirates. It's a changing of position. It's manipulating the space between the defenders. That ball over the top. Excellent first touch, coach. Great finish by Mutuma.
For the 30-second strike.
Yeah, ama results apumile now, ama results.
Because he
Because
he gave you tactics and trends.
Now ama results apumile.
Then who's keeping it? Who's keep herself? Who's keep herself? However, then Washington Orubi was called into action to try and make sure that the scoreline remained down and he kept his side alive in this one. He does the business, but the question is, even as we look at Arubi here, coach, Gallants just cannot find a goal, cannot find a victory, and it's starting to get worryingly long now that they've even scored.
And Thomas, unfortunate for them in their bets run of games and all of that, they come
games without a goal.
They come against a well-oiled machine that is Orlando Pirates. In the cup final, it was 0 shot on target in Maruma Gallants. The same happens here. That shot comes in for them, only that one. And when you look at how many times Orlando Pirates was in the final third, look at the number of players that are going to the same player trying to defend. It's like, just throw your body anywhere, go. Abanye baya swim, abanye baya yawa, and all of that, because it's almost like when you're under pressure, you lose structure, you lose strategy. And when you come up against the Pirates that has clear tactics to say, when we attack, we can go with a 4-3-3, we can go with a 4-2-4, it becomes difficult for them.
Coach, there's also, and Pomoza, there's also the second, in the background looming, the tickets to Mexico, to the World Cup. And everybody's also playing with that in mind. Tito now coming off the bench, now getting a chance to start.
Yeah, you look at Tito and his contribution in the last 2 games for Orlando Pirates. He has gotten a goal in the previous game. He comes again this week, he gets this goal, and he's putting up his hand to say, I'd lost my place. I'm the number 10 at Orlando Pirates. I'd lost my place because I was not producing in the final third. And he's picking up his hand and saying to Coach Wadu, Coach Wadu, 2 goals, last 2 games. Maybe I'm an option for the week for Wednesday in that big game.
Master Chef or ambulance?
The most performing and the most contributing and the most consistent, because if an influx of players coming from Sundowns is not really that much going to Bafana, but most of the players are coming from Orlando Pirates. If both of them can go to Mexico, it's even better.
Yeah?
cabanga i-chef ihamba ne-ambulance zoyi-2 ukudla kufika ngesikhathi
Like a siren.
mamela ukudla kufika ngesikhathi akushi akwenzi nithi kufika ngesikhathi mawuqeda lapho bese uthola intwana emunade yakho vali vele ishaye ngefinesse iqedele uthi apolice ngapha ka-right thwahla okay labo abanye sesizoba eda
So up to you when all of it goes on the
why
plate.
not if you are performing
As we look at the man you were talking about, Mofokeng, and his impact in the game and how much he's enjoying his football right now.
He's enjoying his football right now because he's doing something that he knows he loves, he's born for. He picks out his players. Somebody would say, why doesn't he score there? But he knows how to find players. Because look at where he starts. He starts walking, and then you realize that when it's time to accelerate, he realizes the player behind me is minus. The player in front of me, I just have to move. Ngimlalise. Yabona uSkhosana laphayana, I'm sure usalele namanje. Bamcheckile Orlando Stadium ukuthi konje futhi ibizwani
Arena.
It's the Orlando Amstel Arena.
exactly maybe usesekhona lapha but ngoba banegame emele bayidlale nge-weekend uhambile lapha
Maybe that's why I see game FNB. Usalele.
Yo,
boy on the line but mina ngimblame
but he
lapha
was expecting the shot. He
yeah
thinks,
urile makeza
he thinks,
mele ulethe
let me get my body on the shot years, Alana,
Thomas.
and then ish.
Urele questions you to which part of your body are you going to defend with when he comes with the ball. And in this case, uSkhosana uthi ke tla ya ka lengwele ka hloka mkokotla ka ntho tseo kaofela mara he wentse hore president ya 2000 is score a goal entle haholo. It's because you are up against a team where you don't know who's going to score, who's going to pass, who's going to receive, who's going to shift me away from defending.
And then continuing to ask questions, continuing to enjoy his football, and continuing to say, listen, when it comes to the World Cup, he would like to be there. Again, still competing for that same role with his fellow teammates for an opportunity to go.
I think he has been excellent, really. Be it you play him at left 10, be it you play him at central 10, his ability to find a pass, his ability to play in tight spaces has been excellent. And for me, this is another man that needs to book a ticket to Mexico. That is evidence for Hopper. One of those that were...
You said he should book a ticket.
One of two strikers that went to AFCON. It was...
But he's not a starter anymore.
Mahopa.
He's not a starter.
You don't know what the coach is doing.
But he's not a starter at his club.
No, it's not that he's not a starter. The coach says he rotates his players. He says it clearly in every press
He's
conference.
not starting for Orlando
But
Pirates.
that's what I'm saying. The
Mbutuma is starting.
The coach.
If you're going to take a player from Pirates, you've got to take the start.
No, kancane.
National team
Because
is tricky, Thomas.
Huh?
A national team is tricky in a sense, Yoguti, you must balance it with your most consistent players that understand the system and the ways and of playing in the national team, the type of opposition we are facing. Because ngisabeke no Reina sekumele aye kubafana bafana ngisabeke.
What is evidence not doing that Mbutuma is doing that he's preferred?
But me, Thomas, I will look at it this way and say, I want to think that as the national team coach, Hugo Bruce, he must have a relationship with his clubs. He must be consistently in contact with the head coaches of his club to say, why is Mahopa not starting? That's a question to the head coach of Orlando Pirates. And reasons might be when he came back, he was a little bit behind in terms of fitness because he was not playing much at AFCON. I need to integrate him back into the squad slowly. And later on, Coach Hugo, don't worry, you'll get his starts once again. And that's why the coach of Orlando Pirates says, when I look at my team, I'm rotating my team and trying to find as much as I can find in terms of freshness of the players. Now look at Moremi of late. He's coming off the bench. He's the coach managing his squad and also rotating.
Also, if you look at the style of play right now, Pirates is unlocking certain trends, tactics and trends, in a sense that we are used to seeing double 10. He pushes it to 3-10s. If you have a striker that is not hungry to stay in the box and score those
3
goals,
10s, name them.
3-10s, Utolo Apolis Lapan, Utolo Mufugeng Lapan, Utolo Tito Lapan. Those are the 3-10s, and those are the ones that contributed to the first goal that they scored today. So Mbutuma fits in well there because he doesn't come short trying to play. He stays in the box. That's why he's able to score those goals. Mahopa is a grafter. He goes and works hard, disturbs the build-ups and all of that. You find him,
cross.
not so much. but uthola kuyo flikayo instead of being the one that the ball is flicked to. So the difference between the two, yiyo le. Nokuthi ke maybe he's still stuck on the old way of playing your Pirates. Akaka adapti kahle, but Mbuthuma is adapting well and he's scoring goals. I mean, so far, and the president, they've contributed 11 goals to the 25 that Pirates have scored.
Speaking of old ways of playing, forget the old way that Chippa used to play. They're playing a way that just gives them victories. And Coach Kanu Vilagazi, he is now really in red-hot form with Chippa. He's getting the best of Justice Figueiredo, who has the ball out wide here. And this is not a cross, it's a shot, right? It's going into that far corner. Otieno saves it. And then arriving, Kamis.
He doesn't save it, he pats it back into play.
No, I think when you look at it, it's a short cross because he's trying to take a shot. He's trying to cross the ball, and when he cuts it here, the power that he's taking there is going for a shot. But now let's look at Kamis in a new role. There's Matingwana that is playing right back now. Kamis is playing in an 8th role because you might ask yourself the question to say, why is Kamis so high up? Why is Kamis in the box? It's because he's playing as one of the double 8s together with Goodman Musele and also Kamis as the double 8. Then you've got Khongobe sitting as the 6. That is the 3 midfielders. But I love what Kamis is doing. Good anticipation, puts the ball in the back of the net.
There it is. They're up. And then substitution gets made. Kamis picks up a yellow card early in the game. Maybe that's why he's pulled out. Mtsundwana's brought in and told, listen, now go and find something for us. And he does. Within minutes, the big man is celebrating because look at what Figueiredo does here. Stuff like Talaso. I see it. Foot race, cross, net.
Mo empowered and unamandla njengo Figueiredo, he's so deceiving because you're thinking to yourself, angeke angishiyelwa besashaya imoto uselo wena usastart imoto lapha nisatara silokhu totoro as hand. But the biggest thing here for me is Unsundwana. Him being able to score a goal against his previous team, his ex-team.
You plenty of celebrity, my former team and celebrity.
No, this is when was the last time Tsundwana scored a goal and in such a manner? Because he's also cutting in from wide as a winger.
He left nothing with the celebration. This is the most you can celebrate as a human being. Tsundwana gives this to a team that gave him so much of his football career.
Thomas, ukuhlala ebenchini nendlela ahambe ngayo maybe bamxoshile bamneclearance yakhe bamsokolisile ukumupha yona sazi, we don't know, you know, maybe nje abambhadelanga nesalary yakhe yokugcina makahamba maybe uyilwele and all of that, and also that, you know, but those are the politics and the dynamics that come into also on the other hand.
I mean, you guys are football, there's that new thing you're
no, Thomas, on the other hand, when was the last time Tsundwana scored a goal? And ngale andlela, because we've always complained about him, but he's staying too wide as a winger, as tall as he is. He should be drifting in, trying to score goals. That for me is in a moment, you know, so it's that.
Yellow card for taking off his shirt. Incredible celebrations. What do you think? Should players, celebrate against their former clubs, or should they, be a little bit calmer than Nzundwana was there for that goal? Then we look here. Guaiba can't stop scoring since returning to his club from Orlando Pirates as he finds the third. That's 3 goals since the window opened and he went back.
I think we must actually look closely at what Jesse Guaiba is wearing, because the previous game he gets a brace, the opposition gives him the ball twice. This time again, Zuke is close to the line. Clear boy, take it out for a throw-in, we recover. Zuke gives him a through ball. Good first touch. He puts it in the
Man, he's alert.
The back of the
he's alert.
No, before alertness, any young defender watching, if you're on that far end of the field, take it out and you don't play the ball across your own goal. And that's what Zuka is attempting for. Good alertness. He's aware, he's anticipating, he gets to the ball the quickest. It's 3 goals in 3 games for Guaiba. After that difficult start to the season, mentally, he's a strong boy. Because at Orlando Pirates, he was not getting a lot of minutes. He's the main man at Chippa. He's scoring goals.
Speaking of players that are finding the back of the net since having left the previous club, it is Mujela who is doing that at Skokuni. He left Stellenbosch with difficulties. He was training with the reserves. It wasn't going well for him there. He gets now to Skokuni, and his first goal in the league, his second for the club already since having made the change. Mukhaya, the assist.
Nyambono Mukhaya, who is an assist. uRamahlwe Mphahlele uyi-assistant enkulu laphana. In any sense, you are sitting there and you are thinking, I mujelu offside. Bheka uRamahlwe ukuthi ukuphi njengamanje. Nothing says to him, the ball is ricocheting, it comes back 3-4 touches before it even gets to Umujela. However, I'll repeat again, when you're a player on the field and you're ready to receive a pass, he receives a pass, he doesn't control it, he knows where the goals are.
But I'll compare. Nhlapo had a chance to clear that ball. When it comes to him, Nhlapo can clear it.
He was clearing the ball.
Straight, yeah, but
he was clearing the ball.
Straight to Mukhaya.
Look, he was clearing the ball. To his defense, he was clearing the ball. He might have miscued. Umujela scores and he doesn't care who to Ramahlwe wins and 10.
And that's 2 minutes into the game. Then look here. Fantastic work from Mokoane. He brings the ball forward. And then Mphahlele tries to clear. He doesn't. It's blocked by Mokoane. Net.
It says a lot about the experience that he has amassed over the years that is Ramon Mphahlele. But the thing is, he's playing too far from his partner. And he is constantly playing the teams on side. Not fully committed into the challenge. It's a half-hearted challenge, but Mujela is alert. He's anticipating the ball to fall. Because look at Nhlapo and Ramon Mphahlele, they are coding. And when the ball breaks loose, Mujela reacts the quickest and he gets a brace and he says, thank you very much, maximum points.
And I love what Kokunia are doing, because remember, they were very clear at the beginning of the season that Coach Eric Tinker saying clearly, the objective is top 3. They want to be part of the conversation in that top 3 at the end of the season, and they stay in the hunt with that victory. Now, moving on. It's a quick break. After the break, cap action for you.
The trends with the goal that we're going to show, you're going to see the interchange of positions between Morena and also Mudau. I'm spiraling Mudau in this moment. And secondly, I'll spiral Morena. Look at how they use the space in the wide areas. Look at Morena. Now he comes inside. When Morena turns in this instance, I'm going to spiral Morena centrally. He brings the ball central in the central corridor. Look at the space that opens up on the right side for Kholiso Mudau on top of your picture. At the bottom of your picture, you're going to see that it's Mudiba that is giving them that width. Now he progresses the ball out wide to Kholiso Mudau. Focus on the interchange of position between Mudau and also Morena. Now look at the secondary strikers in Silas and also Matthews, how close they are to Leon, the man that is going to go on and score the goal. The hand of God is on Leon. He's the man that will go on and score the goal in this moment. But look again at that wide space where Mudiba is occupying that space. Previously, we used to see Mudiba a lot more in the inside. Now I'm looking at Tabchi. He has got his eyes on Matthews to say, oh, that's the man I need to worry about. He has forgotten about Silas that is behind him in this instance. One thing that Mamelodi Sundowns does very well is counter press. Look how they've taken out away space and time. Tabdi is not aware of Silas. He steals that ball. As soon as he steals that ball, he's got one thing on his mind to say, he doesn't see me. I've counter pressed well, unleashes a thunderous shot. As soon as they parry it back to play, who's alert? It's Leon again that is alert. He gets a brace in this game. That's a goodbye for Mamelodi Sundowns. And number 9 is going to be key on Wednesday. One for Orlando Pirates.
Let's keep talking, Leon, because maybe as we look at this match, Sundowns brilliant. They've done it. They're through. The draw is tomorrow. But Leon, when you start to think about Wednesday against Orlando Pirates, who's he up against, and is he too much for them to cope with?
He's something to think about because of his technical ability. He's got explosive speed in him, and also he's able to steal distance in meters in terms of where the ball is at, because the second goal that they score, Mamelodi Sundowns, you see how he runs. His timing, stay on side, and as much as quickly as he does, he changes direction, and look where he starts. So
you've got Siema, you've got Bodlela. They have to deal with the finishing that he showed on the first goal, and here his nose. He can sniff something.
He's not afraid to be a
something happening.
Point. Yeah, he's not afraid to be a reference point. On the feet, you bring it. High up in the air, you are able to bring it. He's able to do that. Also, he's got the strength and the power to stay on his feet as much as he can, which means Siema no Bodlela, they will have to make sure first they get on the ball and they deny him time and space to create those angles, because he could be running there and opening space for Sales that is coming from behind, the Allende that is coming from behind, even Mukwena that is able to get a shot back from that. So he's very smart in how he moves.
Coach, tactically, I look at this Mamelodi Sundowns team and I look at the illustration of the first goal where we're highlighting Mudau out wide, we're highlighting Mudiba out wide. The second goal that they score is Mudiba again in that wide area, crossing the ball. For me, we used to know Mudiba from previous season. He's the one that underlaps. He's the one that becomes the 8. He becomes the extra midfielder when the ball is on the opposite end. But it seems like Cardoso has tweaked his tactics a little bit, where his fullbacks are really giving them the width, giving a lot of space in that central corridor for his midfielders.
We'll see that on Wednesday. We'll see if that's the way they continue to play as the two top teams in the Betway Premiership clash on your World of Champions. But there's still the issue of Kaizer Chiefs. They've crashed out of the CAF Confederations Cup. However, that now means they focus on the league. Going to Egypt, it was a case of having to at least get a draw. Zamalek had to win. And Zamalek came like a house on fire in that first half. They created so many opportunities the Chiefs just seemed to struggle to cope with.
Whenever you go against Chiefs, when you go through the center for them, it almost becomes a half chance for you because they are uncoordinated in how they defend. Yes, the distances are shorter, but they are not there covering each other, and the defenders are always diving. At this moment, for now, you are thinking to yourself that they've got numbers behind the ball, but are they well coordinated in terms of the defending? Now, you find Msimango stepping in. When he steps in, then he disrupts the fluidity that is there at the back and the line that is there. Now, which means that becomes a frailty for them. And also, a lot of the time, you see the defenders, you won't die from coming at
Daba here should score. I mean, he's all alone at the back post. And of the 3 chances we've seen that first half, 2 of them were really, really good chances for Zamalek to be 2 up.
You look at Marco on the far post, he's not open stance, he's only watching the ball. He does not see what Adaze is doing in front of him. You have to be goal side. That is the basics of defending. But I look at the lineup that Chiefs put out there. What was the mandate to the players? What was the plan going to Egypt? They're playing 5 at the back, they're playing 3 in midfield. We've loved the combination of Ndlovu and also Maboe sitting as the 2 midfielders. That gives them the control.
5 at the back,
we saw Mato come into that midfield. Now they played with the 3. They played with the Ndlovu. They play with Maboe and also Mato, then the back 5. Then are you there to look?
Even try to go back there because you should have stayed in the box, try to win it. Now, this is the second time that Chiefs get to concede in losing the ball in your own half. If you remember also, this is how they, against Kukuna, where they lost the ball in their own half. Actually, against Durban City, Gwenzakalan, Badlalekaya, there's that pride.
Maboe gets punished for losing the ball here.
And he loses it twice, Thomas. The first time he loses it, he wins it back. He's supposed to play. But he doesn't play. He's still wobbling. Get rid of the ball, pass it to your teammate, and then let's move to the next phase of playing. But he doesn't. And
the one thing, though, if you're going to take a silver lining, is that Chiefs, even being down, they do then start to really play good football. And we see it here. They do find a goal that gets them back in the game.
What they needed was the result, not good football. You are playing in CAF competition. It's about the
against
result.
Al Masri, when it was 1-1, Chiefs found something. They went to make it 2-1.
If a Champions League in CAF competition, they will take you out. You can't lose the ball in. That's a no-risk area. They counter press. They take away space and time, and directly they pierce through the middle. And we said Chiefs are playing with a back 5, but yes, Lilepo, this guy has been so influential for Kaizer Chiefs. He will be the first.
And he scores with 15 minutes to go. Chiefs now have 15 minutes to find an equalizer. The equalizer would have seen them go through.
If Lengwenyale, mina if Banglapa, ngikutshelile ngalaba ngathi mina Lengwenyale eceda ukushaya manje uLilepo.
Ushayile free kick goalkeeper ya save la.
Ngithi mina already ngithi mina month end la. Le nyanga le ayipheli ngabo-30. Iphela nge-28 this month.
That's when the Soweto Derby will be coming your way on the 28th, and it's another match to look forward to on February on your World of Champions. Coach Shorty, thank you very much. Loved having you here today and the contribution that you brought. Thank you, Pumuzo. And very last word of information for you. We won't be having Daniel Bennett back on the show. He's moving on to some bigger projects. So we are going to be improvising and also on the lookout for a new eye when it comes to that refereeing position. But thank you, Daniel, for all that you did for us and the time that you were with us. And good luck in what you've got next. Good night.